welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband is Paul. We're so happy you have joined us. For those of you who are new here, we're an early retirement, debt and mortgage-free couple living in the Hudson Valley area of New York. And our channel just shows you how to have a full, abundant life while spending less money. Today's video, we're going to be sharing a bunch of hints on how we live daily below our means, things we do here and there that really help us to be accountable for where our money is going. And we're also going to share a zero food waste meal again. I know these have become a real favorite with you all, and we're really working hard to assume a zero food waste mentality. So let's get right to the video. What does living below your means mean? It basically means you spend less money than what you have coming in every month. After all your bills are paid, all your necessary expenses are paid, you have a little bit left over. So that is living below your means. It's basically spending less than you make. It's just saying to yourself, I have so much money coming in a month. I cannot spend more than that, because once you've gone over and spent more than you're actually bringing in financially, you are now living above your means. And there are so many ways to cut back, and we have tons of videos on that. And we're going to show you some more today. So one of the first things we do to make sure we're living below our means is to always be prepared. And if you missed last Friday's video on how we have been stocking up food-wise for the coming colder weather, then I will link it down below. Take a look at that video. We prepare in a bunch of different ways. We're always preparing for the unexpected, saving money for the unexpected, stocking up food for the colder weather or for whatever. It's a continual process. And I know so many of you said that you live in a warm weather climate, but you still prep for hurricanes and things like that. So no matter what area of the world you live in, it's always best to be prepared. Paul's going to show you another way that we prepare for winter. He's going to show you several things that he's in charge of to make our cold weather months safe and warm and secure. So I'm going to hand the camera over to him and let's see what he does to prepare for the winter.
Here's our firewood supply that we use to heat our house during the winter time. This is about 4 cords stacked in the back of our house on pallets to keep them off the ground so they don't get wet. But this is a nice frugal way for us to keep our house nice and toasty warm. We leave our thermostat on about 63 degrees, so when the fire does go out in the middle of the night, the room is still kept at 63, and in the morning we get up, restoke the fire, and that brings the room way up past 70. This is just a frugal way to keep our heating costs low, because this pile of wood right here is definitely cheaper than a tank of oil. Also, if you notice, I use tarps and plastic. If you saw our last video about our firewood, you know where we get our tarps and plastic from. That keeps the rain and snow off of it. And I also use these as tie downs. These are old brake rotors that I collected from the local repair shops in the neighborhood. I just go over there and ask them, hey, you got any of these things laying around? And they say, oh yeah, plenty of them, you can have them. And I put these on top of the tarps. That keeps the tarps from blowing in the wind and everything stays nice and dry. Yeah, this is great. Stacking it is tough, but it is definitely worth it for us. Here's another great way to be prepared for the winter time. Those power failures happen quite a bit around here. We do have a generator, but this is an awesome way to light up your home. We have these vintage oil lamps that came from Emmy's parents. We picked up these wicks at Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they were only a few cents. And the oil we use is a clean burning oil. So this is a fantastic way to keep your home lit up at night when the power goes out. You want to keep these out of reach of your children. You want to keep them out of reach of your pets. You want them on a sturdy surface, not on a carpet, not near this lamp, somewhere safe. And never leave them unattended. You use them in the room that you're in and don't carry these around. These are meant for tabletop use only. Here's another one we bought for $5 at a flea market in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This is a wall unit that hangs in our wall. It's decorative, it looks great. It is very vintage, so you see some discoloration, but it's the same oil. And of course the new wick. You always want to make sure you maintain your lamps, and you can look on the internet. There's a ton of information about maintaining oil lamps. And you see that plate back there? That plate is designed to reflect the light into the room and not into the wall. So this is pretty neat. This was definitely made to be a wall unit, and it's just gorgeous.
Aren't those lanterns magnificent? For us, this just works really well. And Paul's in charge of that. We have all our wood, 4 cords. Hopefully we won't use it all, but it is there. We heat with wood predominantly down here in our living area. Another thing we want to encourage you with is make sure your oil burner is cleaned, your HVAC system. We just had our chimney cleaned. These are all really important things to do. Have that equipment serviced. It will save money in the long run. Another daily habit we do to live below our means is we don't upgrade if we don't need to. You know the old saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It applies to everything. My iPhone, which is around here, is an SE, okay? It's an older model. Why would I get a new one? It's not broken, it's working. Yeah, the battery life isn't great and I'm constantly charging it, and I will eventually have to get one. But let me tell you, when those new iPhones come out or the new Samsungs come out, we don't run and get it. It could be years before we upgrade our phone. The only reason Paul upgraded his was because I put it in the washing machine with our table linens. Do you all remember that? It's just a good common sense not to upgrade to a bigger car, to a bigger house, to a bigger wardrobe if it's not necessary. What you need to ask yourself when you're going to upgrade these things is, can I upgrade them and still live below our means? That is a great question to ask yourself. So if you're looking for that new iPhone, well, that monthly payment or that full price payment, is that going to allow me to continue to live below my means? That new car, whatever it may be. If we do these upgrades, where am I going to be financially? Always stop, think, and ask yourself, because these are really important questions. So if you can avoid upgrading things that do not need upgrading, I'd advise you not to. Another tip we want to share. So many times people think that living below your means you're stagnant, you're not moving forward, you're not improving your life in any way. Well, how can you? You're not spending any money. Oh my goodness, not true. What Paul and I do to live below our means is constantly reinvent ourselves. What do I mean by that? What I mean is we're constantly looking inside of ourselves and saying, what would we like to learn to do? What skill would we like to use? Now, I'm looking at myself. I just finally mastered sourdough. And I know I've told you this before, but I'm so proud of it. It took a couple of misses before I finally got Raya alive, well, and thriving. Paul, the other day, his FCC license came due. And he's like, you know what? I don't use it often, but I'm going to start getting into this again. And he renewed his FCC license, pulled out his old radios. He was tuning them up. He found a CB, if you can believe it, for $5 at a tag sale. And he rebuilt it and it works great. So it's amazing what we can do when we put our mind to it. And I say this all the time, instead of throwing money at a situation, think of other ways that you can go around and solve it. And reinventing yourself is one of them. And I don't mean something drastic. I mean something that you've always wanted to learn. I know that I have had comments from people who have done in-depth studies of other countries through YouTube. They've created their foods. They've taken tours of the country. They've looked at their clothing, done research on the country. Instead of actually going and taking a trip there, they immersed themselves in everything about that country they wanted to learn through YouTube and the library. Brilliant. I think that's pretty amazing how creative people can be. Living below your means is not boring, it is not stagnant, and it's only as big as you allow your imagination to be. Now, this one's going to freak some of you out, but that's okay. I think we need to address it. The holidays, Thanksgiving begin a little over 4 months. We need to start thinking about them. We need to start thinking of our menu, picking up items that are shelf stable for the holidays when they go on sale. Start looking at little gifts. If you give gifts, if you make edible gifts, start looking and seeing when those items to make your gifts are on sale. Let me show you 2 things I found at a tag sale for people on my list that I thought were such cute gifts, cost barely anything, and I think they're going to be a big hit. So I'm going to turn the camera around and take you upstairs for a minute. I'm always keeping my eye out for little gifts for people. And I have a dear friend who loves little kitchen books like this. I saw this. It's absolutely precious. A bouquet from the kitchen. It even has the to and from. It's filled with little recipes, just precious little antidotes, sayings. And I know this will be a well appreciated gift. Just a little something. Keep your eyes out all the time for things that you can bless other people with. Dixie, I was filming here. I went into the other room for 1 second. You can see the book I just showed you. Look at her, knocking pillows down. Dixie Belle, are you going to take your nap now? Look at her, look at me. You going to be taking your nap now? We're going to work around Dixie here. We're going to film around Dixie. This is something I found at a flea market, the big Stormville flea market, about a month ago. And it was literally $2. You all know how I love anything with gingerbread, and this was just so pretty. It was a swag. And I bought it actually for all the little pieces, which I thought were just charming. It's even got gumdrops on it. Oh my goodness, and little peppermint candies. Then I realized there was a battery pack behind it, and it lit up. So for $2, this was well within our means. Just such a beautiful little swag. This is another really inexpensive gift idea. I found these cottage journal magazines in beautiful condition at the thrift store. They were $0.10 a piece. What a lovely gift for someone who is into cottage living. They were in pristine condition, like they had never even been used. No name anywhere on them. So what a lovely gift to give someone. You could tie it with a ribbon. I think someone would love something like this. But this is just such a creative idea. Minimal amount of cost. And they really are beautiful. Each one of these is literally like a hardcover coffee table book. The decorating ideas are just beautiful. So just another great, easy holiday idea for a gift. I love those magazines. They were so beautiful. And as I was looking at them in the thrift store, I was like, 10 cents a piece. My goodness. I could keep them myself. And then I'm like, aha, I know. And one of my friends loves that form of decorating and styling. I'm like, she would love this. And even if I give it to her as a hostess gift, when I go to her house one time for a meal, it's just always keeping in the back of your mind a little mental list of what you need to do and how to be prepared for the upcoming holidays. Now, another tip. We talked a few minutes ago about not feeling deprived, and that is such a big part of our frugal journey. And there are times that we will treat ourselves and we will splurge just a little bit. But you know what? My splurge may not be your splurge, and your splurge probably won't be my splurge, but that's okay. When these little tiny splurges come, you just have to look at them and say, wait a minute, is this going to put me in debt? Is it going to put me over my means? Is it going to put me over what we bring in every month? And every single time that answer should be no. Those of you who've been with us for a while, remember my Aunt Anna who turned 100 last year. I know, right? And so many of you sent her beautiful, beautiful cards. Her birthday was the other day. She's 101, going strong. The woman is so amazing, so beautiful. Well, we're going to go see her in a couple days. So I wanted to go to the dollar store and pick her up some balloons. Just a little something to go in. We're going to have a little celebration with her. While I was in there, something caught my eye. You know, Paul and I, we always have a purpose when we go into the dollar store, like a list, in and out. Oh, I saw these two little items, so it cost me $2.50. When you see them, you'll just be like, oh yeah, I mean, that's you. But they were little fall decorations that I thought were so precious. I want to put them either on the counter behind me throughout the fall season, or maybe even our little end table where I'm going to show you them. So this is my little guilty pleasure. You know I love all things autumnal. I could not get over how cute these were for $1.25. $2.50, is it within our budget? Absolutely. Honestly, I just couldn't pass these up. I thought they were precious. Little wooden mugs of cocoa, and look how thick they are. Just delightful. You know my love for gingerbread men and pumpkins, hands down, two of my favorite things. So weren't they precious? They were thick too, just so cute. They really had that autumnal flair that I like. They were just whimsical. I looked at this purchase. Did I need it? No, I didn't. Is it gonna make us go above our means if I bought those two items? No, it wouldn't. The reason I'm showing you this is to show you you can buy items. This is not saying you never buy anything again. You don't ever treat yourself. But you wait for these non-essential items to come up at a price that you can afford, something you really want. Don't buy to buy. Then you're just wasting money. So that was just a little living below your means inspiration. Just remember, everybody's frugal journey is different, and we all have to be respectful of each other's journey. And now we're gonna get into the kitchen and we're gonna share one of our favorite one-dish meals. If you saw the short that we put out on Tuesday, you kind of know what this might be. So let's get into the kitchen and make some clean out the refrigerator, zero food waste tortellini salad with homemade dressing. Here you go. We're back in the kitchen again, and we're going to be making another zero food waste meal. I have a bag of cheese tortellini in the freezer that I want to use up. These bags run about $2.50. When I tell you you can use what you have for this, I'm not kidding. We have got a half of a cucumber. I had a jar of mixed olives in the pantry, so we're going to use those. We have some little tomatoes from our garden. I've got a carrot, 2 stalks of celery, and I've got some mozzarella cheese that I want to use up as well. You can use any kind of vegetables. You can put in broccoli, mushrooms, add some salami, pepperoni, ham, whatever. Be creative. Use up those little bits and pieces. And what we're also going to do is make a homemade creamy Italian dressing with pantry items. So this is going to be a one-dish meal that is over the top. What is so great about tortellini in the summertime? They only cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. So this is not something that's going to have to cook. So I'm using the whole bag because we love leftovers of this cold salad. Now I just put them into the boiling water. Sorry for the lighting, we're getting some beautiful sunshine in this morning. So we cut up our cucumber, our mozzarella cheese, the olives. Make sure you pit them. If they have pits in them, take it out. Some celery, some carrots, and tomatoes. This is going to be so pretty. The tortellini cooked for about 3 minutes and they were done. I'm telling you, such a great hot weather meal. I ran them under cold water to stop the cooking process. Now in our bowl, we're going to put the package of tortellini and all the yummy extras. I'm going to give this a mix. There we go. Now let's make our homemade creamy Italian dressing. I'm doing it in my NutriBullet, but you can do it in a blender. So we're going to use a half a cup of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of your favorite vinegar. I'm using balsamic. We just like that. This you're going to do to taste. I have some Italian herb seasoning. So I'm going to grate some of this in, but you can use garlic powder, onion powder, some dried basil, a little oregano. I'm going to add some garlic powder as well. So we're going to just do this to taste. And I'm going to use some cracked black pepper. So simple, so delicious, and really inexpensive. Now, you could have added salt to this as well, but for us, the mayonnaise has enough salt, but you do it to taste. And then just blend it for a minute. You can see how creamy and wonderful this is. And taste it to make sure the seasoning is to your preference. I'm going to give this a good mix. Now, the pasta will drink up a lot of this. So if you need to make a little more, that's okay. This should be good for us. It's coating everything real nice. Make sure you scrape those containers. You know me. So this looks great. What I'm going to do is cover this. Please chill it in the refrigerator at least several hours before you eat it. Give it time for those flavors to come together. We are super excited for this tonight. One dish meal, honestly. Veggies, you're getting pasta, and those tortellini are like little clouds of dough stuffed with cheese. They're so good. So we're just gonna pop this in the refrigerator until dinner time, and then we're gonna enjoy. Super yummy and super Paul approved. That just is such a great way to use up little odds and ends. And like I had mentioned, you can get bags of tortellini about $2.50 a bag when they go on sale. Great little item to stock up in your freezer. They are just so versatile with tomato sauce, even some melted butter and Parmesan cheese. They're just like a perfect little food. So this was a win. Question of the day. Have you started even thinking of the upcoming holiday season? Now, I'm not even talking about having to buy gifts. I know a lot of people have stopped doing gift exchanges and things like that, but even any kind of baking you might do. Keep an eye out for those ingredients, any kind of cooking, any kind of shelf-stable food that you might be thinking of buying. Have any of you started that? Have any of you even thought, gee, it's only 4 months away? Maybe I'm the only one, I don't know, but this is something that we like to do, to be prepared and then not get bombarded when the holiday comes with high bills. So we thank you for taking this time to be with us. We hope this video was encouraging. We hope it was inspiring. We ask that you would please give this a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Come on in and be part of our Frugal family. We would love to have you. We ask that you be well. We ask that you be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you.